The jets land and fly, completing a successful day of exercises and tests. Enough of that, let's head over to the Mojave Desert in California where we meet ace pilot Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell. He's over here fixing his beautiful P-51 Mustang. 30 years has really gone by fast. And then he puts on his old good bomber jacket and heads out the hangar in a motorcycle, zipping through the desert. He arrives at an airport where he parks at a hangar with a sleek new aircraft at full display. This is Bernie Hondo Coleman, and he breaks the sad news saying they're canceling the program because the bigwigs want Mach 10 in their jet, but they're only going to get Mach 9 today. Bernie says that someone named the Drone Ranger is going to shut him down personally and allocate the budget for his drone program.
We've been ordered to stand down.
The Maverick doesn't give up, so if they want Mach 10, well, he's going to give them Mach 10. He gets warmed up and suited. Then Bernie debriefs him that the contract exactly wants Mach 10, no more no less. Let's all give our respect to the Dark Star. He checks out the equipment, communications, and then he fires up the engines. Control gives him the green light to the Dark Star for him to move to the runway. Then suddenly Admiral Chester Kane, the head of this whole program, is at the gates. Bernie warns the Maverick that it's not too late to stop, but the Mav insists.
I know what happens to everyone else if I don't.
Control gives him the go, and he blazes his sweetheart to full power. He even blasts the Admiral with a force of wind. He's soaring, approaching Mach 3.5. Party's over because Admiral's not too happy with this display. Control says the plane is cruising at Mach 7, pushing 8. The heat is climbing on the plane, but he reaches Mach 9. Now he's the fastest man alive.
He's the fastest man alive.
The flight data keeps climbing as he keeps climbing speed, going into hypersonic. Suddenly, the plane is burning hard, but he's at Mach 9.8, so he pushes the Dark Star further and eventually Mach 10. Control goes wild, and the Mav looks at his glory, but he becomes greedy. He's reached Mach 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, and then the plane overloads and everything in Control blacks out. There's an explosion in the sky. And we're taken to a diner down at a small village, where everyone looks at the grizzled Maverick who just walked in. He's asking for a glass of water, and also where he is. Then a kid answers that he's on Earth. Much later, a Navy helicopter has him. Then he's debriefed by Kane. Throughout his 30 years in service, he's basically legendary at this point. Kane's wondering why he doesn't move on from his fight jet glory days. But the Maverick just simply says that he's where he belongs. Sadly, the Navy thinks otherwise, because Kane says that the future is unmanned drones and not him with the lords of the locker room. He wants him packing and on the road to North Island, where he's been called back to Top Gun. He's dismissed, and then Kane says that he's kinda en route to extinction, but Maverick is willing to postpone that. Let's fly down to San Diego, California, where the Maverick is seen enjoying the sights of his old throne. He enters the Top Gun building, and he remembers the glory days. He's then debriefed by Admiral Bo Simpson, the air boss, and Admiral Warlock Bates in the meeting room. The Mav here seems to be giddy about coming back, and then they show him the target, an illegal uranium plant. They're tasked by the Pentagon to make a strike team and take that plant to Flavortown. The plant's heavily guarded in a deep valley, surrounded by anti-air defenses, and even has squadrons of fighter jets. He's asked to say his input, and he's thinking that all of the complicated and numerous defenses make it hard for the new jets to approach this. So, his solution? Use 4 F-18s to turn that place into a parking lot. Admiral Bo corrects him, saying that he's not here to fly jets to the mission, but here to teach the Maverick ways. Admiral Bo says he's got hold of 12 Top Gun top cadets, but he only needs 6.
No, someone's not coming back from this.
He sees that one of them is the son of one of his close friends. Regardless, he still doesn't think he's fit to teach. But Admiral Bo says he's got a recommendation to get him in this gig. Either he flies for this job or doesn't fly for the Navy ever again. At the local bar, the Maverick is left in contemplation. Then he gets a message from Iceman about his decision to teach or not. Suddenly, a woman approaches the Mav. It's Penny Benjamin. They're both surprised to see each other here, and they have a lot to catch up on. Sounds like they go way back. The Maverick seems interested in her. However, she rings a bell and it turns out that Mav broke the rules of having a phone on the bar.
What am I missing?
So everyone here gets around on him. Suddenly, the next generation breaks into town, and the Mav is there to see it. This is Lieutenant Natasha Phoenix Trace, as she introduces Lieutenants Ruben Payback Fitch and Mickey Fanboy Garcia to Lieutenants Javi Coyote Machado and Jake Hangman Saracen. Lastly, it's Lieutenant Robert Bob Floyd. Man, it's a lot of lieutenants. Then they play pool.
Rock 'em.
Soon, the son of the ghost of Maverick comes to haunt him as Lieutenant Bradley Rooster Bradshaw gets into the party. Hangman gets a beer on the house, thanks to the Mav, and then he breaks the ice on who's going to be squad leader. Rooster and Hangman beef it up, but the two take it on the chin. Phoenix sees a lot more top-of-the-line fighter pilots, so the rest of them begin to wonder what this mission's all about. From all that beer, Maverick's credit card gets declined. Then Rooster pulls the plug on the jukebox, only to play some jazz on the piano. The Mav is lacking cash, so he's thrown overboard, literally. Looking at Rooster from outside, the Mav realizes he's really much like his daddy. He really couldn't let those tragic memories go when Goose passed. The next morning, the admirals come to greet the top of Top Gun, and Admiral Bates is there to walk them through it. They're all the best of the best, but thanks to the enemy's new generation fighters, that's old news.
Enemy's new 5th generation fighter has leveled the playing field.
Only half will be picked for this mission. Then one will be assigned the mission leader. Then he introduces the Maverick to class, and to their surprise, it's the guy they threw out at the bar. The Maverick assumes they know everything about the F-18 and this book. But newsflash, so does the enemy. He dumps the book and emphasizes on what really matters, their limits. The test flights are about to begin, but there's a little drama between Maverick and Rooster. No one knows what really went down, but enough drama. 'Cause this is the Maverick, your captain speaking, and class is in session. First order of business, dogfighting. No missiles. Shoot down the Maverick or he hunts your sorry tushies down. Payback raises the stakes, and the first one to get shot down does 200 push-ups.
That's a lot of push-ups.
The Maverick agrees, and it's game on as he bursts through the fanboy and Payback. The students actually struggle to keep up with Maverick, but a little teamwork keeps them alive long enough. Rooster hits too low and the Maverick has a lock. That's a hit. Push-up time for Rooster. Looks like Maverick begins to school these suckers one by one. So, push-ups for everybody. Hangman wants to go another round, so he does it with Rooster. They try to talk beef about Maverick and Rooster, but that's none of his business. Suddenly, it becomes Maverick's business instead when he flies upside down and on top of them. Rooster and Maverick go in a nosedive lock and they're running out of altitude. They pull up just above 500 feet and it looks like Rooster has the shot, but Maverick literally breaks even and pulls up behind him for the finish.
Had your chance.
That's another set of push-ups for Rooster. Soon, Phoenix comes in to scold him for insubordination. Then Rooster spills that he does have some drama with the Maverick. Just as he was getting grilled, so was Admiral Bo with the Maverick for breaking the hard deck of 5,000 feet. Admiral Bo's wondering what he was teaching him, especially that wicked Cobra maneuver. But the Maverick claims he's teaching him to survive something they've never faced before. He has less than 3 weeks to prepare him for the mission. Then the Admiral requires an approved lesson plan from him every morning. Somewhere in a lounge area, Hangman and Coyote discover an old picture of Maverick with Rooster's father.
What have we here?
In the meantime, Mav visits Penny's bar again, only to find an old friend that got big, and Amelia Benjamin, Penny's daughter. The Mav says he just came by to pay back some money, so Penny comes out to accept it. Seems that Penny has some problems with her boat, so she needs Amelia to come help her, but she's busy with studying. The Mav offers to help. They're on some rocky waters while that boat leans. Then they both raise a bigger sail for more speed. The boat ride ends, and Maverick takes her home. Let's head back to class, where the Mav talks about how time will be the greatest enemy during this mission. He expands on this because they only have a few minutes to do that mission, and adding to that difficulty, they'll be flying really low and fast. If they try to fly higher than 100 feet, they can kiss that jet goodbye because those SAM sights will totally shred them apart. They need to hit the target within 2 minutes before the guarding planes notice them. Today's lesson? Simulate the tight turns of the canyons from the mission. Off they go in their F-18s. The Mav is in a serious mood today as he's grilling his students for their shortcomings because mistakes are fatal, and they'll have to tell their fallen comrades' families that.
Good luck.
Hangman becomes too much of a hotshot in a practice run and results in his wingman's demise. Rooster miraculously makes it to the target, but he's a minute late in the simulation, and the Mav here regards that the enemy's planes have already scrambled to blow him away. Suddenly, Hangman runs his mouth faster than the jet, and Rooster gets ticked off. The rest of the students hold him back, while Mav tells him to back off. Hangman says he's not cut out for the mission, and he emphasizes it to the Mav, so he dismisses him. Nighttime arrives, and Maverick gets a message from one of his old friends, so he comes to see him. He arrives at his friend's place and greets his wife, Sarah Kazansky. He steps in the office where he greets his old-time friend, Admiral Tom Iceman Kazansky. Turns out he was Mav's old wingman. The Admiral cannot physically speak due to a sickness, but he types out that he wants to talk about work, specifically the whole Rooster fiasco. The Mav is apologetic for Rooster about what happened to his father. That's why he's hesitant to send the kid into the mission. Iceman wants him trained and to let him go on the mission. Maverick tearfully admits that he's not a teacher, and that the only reason he's here is because of Iceman. He's stuck between sending Rooster to the mission, where there's no chance that he's gonna live, or to not send him on the mission, and he'll resent Maverick forever. It's a double-edged sword.
How do I teach that?
Iceman gets up and speaks physically, even though it hurts him. He says everyone needs him at this point, so he hugs and thanks Iceman for his painful wisdom. He takes the class on a little beach trip to ease the tension. They play a rousing game of beach football, and it looks like his class is warming up to him, including Hangman and Rooster. He takes 5 and Admiral Bo crashes the party. He's wondering why there's a need for all this, and Mav replies that the team needs bonds, which looks like that's what they're creating right now. Soon the day ends and Maverick takes Penny home. This time it looks like his luck has changed because Penny left the door open. I guess that can only mean one thing. Afterwards, they have a little pillow talk about Amelia, and Penny correlates this to how the Maverick admits he undermined Rooster's pilot career. It's revealed that Rooster's mother never wanted him to fly, not after what happened to his father, Goose, so she made Maverick promise. Suddenly, Amelia comes home.
I have an example to set.
Time for Maverick to vamoose. He vows it's the last time he goes out of her window, and they have a brief, tender moment. Then Penny pushes him off. Amelia sees this, and it's okay, as long as he doesn't break her heart again. The following day comes and Admiral Warlock brings the news that their practice had been cut by a week because the target is going to go online earlier than expected. Regardless, it's time for Phase 2 of training, inverting the aircraft near a mountain so that it can get the smoothest possible time. The first team will crack the nuclear plant open, while the second team will destroy the target from the small opening. That's not all. They have to make a steep climb towards the mountain that will totally stress the aircraft and their physical bodies to the max. Then they either ride the mountain forward and downward, surviving, or 2 more lethal choices. They hit that mountain, or they fly enough for enemy SAMs to take them out. There's a small window of success, so they get to practicing. Phoenix and her team take the course while Maverick pops up posing as an enemy interceptor. They fail to hit the target at the right spot. Then they face the climb. Maverick gets a lock, so Phoenix is out. But Coyote's still climbing. He loses consciousness.
Oh my god, he's in G-lock.
So the Mav goes after him. Coyote gets awakened by the Mav's target lock and he snaps out of it. He pulls up just in time. Suddenly, bird strike. Phoenix tries to deal with it, but the damage was too severe, so they force eject. Hours pass, and the Mav tells Rooster that Phoenix and Bob are gonna be okay. These two aren't gonna be because they get into a heated argument about Maverick sabotaging Rooster's plans. Warlock comes in and breaks the news that Iceman has freezed over, because after the funeral, Admiral Bo says he's gonna take over training, and he grounds Maverick permanently. The Mav visits Penny, and he sounds defeated. Penny tells him that those pilots are his responsibility. The day after, the Admiral has his new mission rules. He wants to slow down the mission and keep the altitude higher, but this raises some eyebrows due to the risk of being shot down. Suddenly, someone flies into radar. It's the Maverick. He flies into the course, promising that he'll finish this 15 seconds faster. Away he goes, and everyone is at the edge of their seats for his display. He's making the climb, lands a bullseye on the target, and makes the 10G climb with a fraction of a second to spare. Everyone's jaw drops.
Damn.
So the Admiral invites him over for a little talk, saying that he has all the power now to have him dishonorably discharged. Or, he gets appointed as team leader. He tells the news to Penny, but this also means he's risking his life. They share a solemn hug. Then soon the Mav is on board the aircraft carrier en route to the mission. It's time to pick the winners. Payback, Fanboy, Phoenix, Bob, and even Rooster will join him on the mission. The rest will be backup. Warlock briefs the team, stating they'll bomb the place with tomahawks once the F-18s are en route. It's game time, and Hangman even pays his respects to Rooster. Then he pulls up on Maverick, but they'll talk once he gets back. Bernie gives the Mav his regards. Then the planes get ready to fly off. The Admiral gives the green light, and the Mav goes soaring. The team follows. Then they fly below radar. Mav gives control the go,
Dagger attack.
and the Tomahawk missiles come flying. No turning back now as they get into attack formation. They mark their timers and head for the hills. They fly in and see the SAMs. Looks like they're still under radar. Suddenly, 2 Sukhoi Su-57s are spotted. It's the enemy. They don't seem to know that they're there, so they speed up just so that they can move on with the mission. Rooster, Payback, and Fanboy are behind schedule. Then the Tomahawks hit the enemy's runway. The enemy fighters are headed for that target, which is where they're headed. Rooster punches it and catches up. They hit the mountain climb and make it to the target. Bob lasers the target and weapons free. Direct hit. Payback's laser has a problem, so Rooster drops the bombs blind. Hit confirmed. Target destroyed. Now it's time for the coffin corner. Mav and Phoenix get shot at, but they lose the missiles. Rooster and Fanboy climb the coffin corner, getting fired on. All the teams run evasive maneuvers and countermeasures, but Rooster runs dry. Suddenly, the Mav does the Cobra maneuver and flares for Rooster, downing his plane in the process. Rooster wants to go back for the Mav, but the Admiral doesn't want to lose more men, so he has him sent back on the mountains. The Mav is alive, but trapped in the snowy plains with a Russian Hind after him. Suddenly, he gets rescued by the rogue Rooster. Sadly, the SAM hit his plane. He's alive, however. They have a little fight about who saves who, but soon they team up to sneak into the enemy's base and steal an F-14. They gas it up and Mav zips it even though the runway's damaged. They fly out of there and Control gets the beep on them. The Sukhois also approach him, but they don't seem to know that they're the enemy. They think they're sus, so Mav and Rooster think there's a dogfight coming. Mav shreds the first plane. The second Sukhoi opens fire, but Mav's just too good of a pilot. He turns around and takes that shot, but the Sukhoi also does the Cobra maneuver. They head for the hills, and the Sukhoi resorts to guns. Mav breaks to its back and opens fire. Target down. Rooster gets on the radio, but one more Sukhoi chases him. Out of ammo and flares, they have to eject, but it doesn't work. The lock is on and Maverick apologizes to Goose. But hold the phone. Someone shoots down that Sukhoi. It's Hangman.
And prepare for landing.
After a bumpy landing, they're all safely back at the aircraft carrier. Mission accomplished. The crowd going wild for the Flyboys. Rooster and Mav end it with a hug. Soon Rooster works alongside him in a workshop. But another surprise, it's Penny with Amelia. He takes her on a joyride, and then Rooster pays respects to his father. Prepare to land, because that was it for Top Gun Maverick. What'd you guys think about this high-flying movie? As always, let us know in the comments below using that hashtag #CinemaRecap. This was Top Gun Maverick by Skydance Media, starring Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly, and, Tom Cruise. See you later.